The finance meeting to order, please rise to the table for the pledge. Meeting is called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Law. Meeting of April 14, 2025, is included in the list of meetings notice sent to the Hunter County Democrat, Courier News on January 6, 2025. Posted on the bulletin board of Borough Hall on that date has remained continuously posted as required. In addition, a copy of this notice is and has been available to the public and is on file in the office of the Borough Clerk. Roll call, please, Carla.
Councilman Arias.
Here.
Councilwoman Engelhardt. Here. Councilwoman Fasara. Here. Councilman Levitt.
Here.
Council Vice President Long.
Here.
And Council President Parker.
Here.
Martin and Mayor Carroll, I'm
Here.
sorry.
It's okay. We don't have any presentations tonight. I have just a brief report. Last week I attended a meeting. And the mayors were invited to a meeting with the, by the county commissioners regarding, the potential of them creating a improvement authority for the sole purpose of allowing municipalities to use their AAA bond rating for note sales, eventually bond sales, possibly opening up to school districts and utility authorities as well. They had their bond counsel there as well as their CFO and their attorney, their financial analyst was there. And the way it was explained was that we would still have to have our bond counsel and our financial analyst create documents for us. It would still be that cost. And then depending on the size of the note sale and how many municipalities went into it, the costs for the county service would be, there would be no like markup. It would be the fees for their bond counsel and analysts would be divided pro rata based on the amount of each municipality's note. Their CFO and other financial staff, there'd be no like patronage positions, no additional staff hired. They would oversee all of this. And they singled out Flemington as an example, and the note sale that we had last year. They admitted that our rate that we got was excellent. In fact, it was the best rate any municipality got in like the last 2 years. Was our sale plus our premium. But they said even as good as it was, using their rating, they did the cost benefit, we would have saved $20,000 in interest, which is more than enough to offset paying the county for their staff time. So I did have a chance to talk to our CFO about it. He said he's done this before in other areas. Can't remember if he said it was the Somerset.
So he represents Watchung, and I know they use the.
Yeah, Somerset's right.
Counted as late to the game here, but better late than never.
Yeah.
I did quite a few projects with the Somerset County.
Yeah, that's what I thought he said he did it with Somerset
Yeah,
County.
100%. I know he has.
And so, he said it was, he didn't have any issues with it at all. The mayors were asked to, bring the message back to the councils or committees and get feedback as to whether or not we want the county to pursue it. So. Do you want me to pursue it and let the county know?
No, like a good opportunity.
So what, just so we know, what was the purpose of doing this? Like, why?
So our current bond rating for Flemington is AA-. Okay, small municipality like ours, probably the best we can ever hope for is AA or AA+. Which we should absolutely strive for, because if we get to a AA+, then using the county's AAA and paying them a little extra, it's probably a wash, right? We won't need them. But we wouldn't be able to go out to the market with a AAA bond rating, because they would do the bonding for us, and we would just pay them.
Okay, who?
We would pay the county would be responsible for paying the note, we'd have to pay the county, but that's all legal, there's laws in place that provide for all of that under state statute. So, I mean, it's basically, we would save a lot of interest money, the 20,000 that they cited to us is just is the interest payment on the $11 million note that we would not have to pay had they had this in place.
I'm for
Anybody else?
I mean, are there any real drawbacks to doing this, or like,
I mean, you know,
do we lose some, I guess, authority or ability to
no, we can,
issue, or?
we go in or out as we please, you don't have to use them if they form it. You know, if we do improve our bond rating to the point where it's, you know, basically a wash to use them, then we don't have to, it's totally at municipalities, you know, desire to do it. And, no, there's really no, you know, I mean, my biggest concern was that it was gonna become a huge improvement authority where, you know, they're hiring new staff for the county and,
Somerset has no staff either,
yeah.
only the bigger counties have staff.
Well, you know, my experience is with Middlesex, so, which is just, you know, it's just
Somerset has
a
no staff.
bastion of patronage and,
So is,
Okay.
so the goal would still be to try and achieve the highest rated bonding that we can.
Yes,
Okay, so we'll just
because we are still-
strive towards that.
because, yes, because when they go out, there's all of the lending institutions that would buy the bond or the note, because they're gonna start out with notes, they're gonna look at the underlying financial situations of every municipality. So they still wanna see it, you know, they still wanna see where we are. So, you know, the better we are, the better, you know, the sale will be. There's a lot of municipalities in Hunterdon that have no ratings, either they don't have any debt or they just, you know, they wait. There's, you know, most of the municipalities in Hunterdon seem to be AA or AA minus.
I have a question. You know, kind of similar, just kind of layman's view here, you know how, if you've got 10 credit cards out, you know, you get credit, you know, you have 10 credit cards, so you built up your credit. If we're not using our bond capacity when we go out for notes, does that reflect poorly on us in any way?
No.
By going through the county versus doing it on our own?
No, because the portfolio still has to show our papers,
Yeah, you said that.
so
Yeah.
no, it doesn't affect it at all.
So say again, what's the advantage and we're going with the county and then what's the disadvantage?
There's-
I'm not sure I heard
The advantage to going,
French
and
question.
the advantage to using the county, if they do this. And using their improvement authority is we get to use their AAA bond rating, which means interest rates will be lower. And our payments will be lower than they currently are. And the example was, had they been in place last year, when we went out on our note sale, it would have saved us $20,000 in interest.
Okay.
There's no disadvantage, really.
We just want to just like join the authority as like a member.
No, there's no
Yeah.
requirement.
And you, I don't think you just.
They said if you wanna use
You
them, you
use
use them.
it.
If you don't need to use them,
You
you don't
need to
use
use
them.
it, yeah, you need to use it. We typically use it for big projects, we built the ballpark with it.
Yeah.
right? But definitely you can use it for anything. Typically they try to time it with the bonds that they're doing.
Well, they did talk about that when, you know, like some of our notes aren't all aligned in the county, right? Some municipalities are out in October, some are going out in May, so there would be like this, there's a grace period where it would have to be carried out, you know? It's a little bit more complicated, but that's all on them, you know, to do that, not us. So, like I said, Bill said he's been doing it for a number of years in Somerset County and he didn't have any issue with it at all.
As long as we've got an option to do it or not, you know,
Oh, yeah,
that's, I think
Yeah.
that's.
yeah, there's no membership required, so.
I don't use them much in Bridgewater, but Hillsborough uses them all the time.
And right now, they're only talking about doing this for notes to see how this goes. And then we bond at some later point. And then if the school districts and the utility authorities are interested in then doing, having, you know, opening up to them as well. So, all right, well, I'll let them know that we're interested. And that's all I've got. All right, Cal?
The mayor, the mayor had a question.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
I know the county is proud of saying they are debt free. If they're borrowing the money, I assume that somehow this does not count as debt.
No, they are not borrowing the money, the improvement authority is borrowing the money.
The technicality.
Okay.
Technicality.
So they're still debt free.
But they ain't never used it, they don't have to use it.
Okay,
Correct.
thank you.
It's interesting.
Yes. And that's why I've always been a little leery of improvement authorities because the debt gets kind of lost and unaccounted. You know? Okay, council member reports, Councilman Arias.
Yeah, just a couple of things, so just wanted to, so we had a tricky trade for the Fleming Council, which was a huge success. We raised about over 17,000, sorry.
Wow.
Just that tricky trail. First time we went to one and I was pretty I was amazed at how many prizes were donated. Someone got a 5-star hotel at Cancun. I was a little jealous there, but also the 5th grade tours have started. We have a couple events coming up as well. For example, April 25th, there, I believe Jane from Shade Tree Committee was gonna have a Arbor Day celebration. So anyone who'd like to come out, they have a small public celebration. It starts at 3:30. And then Saturday, May 10th, there will be a Mother's Day event, if anyone's interested as well, at the Samuel Fleming House from 1 to 3 p.m. I don't really have too much to report. I'm sorry.
Saturday, May 10th?
Saturday, May 10th, yeah.
Sunday, May 10th.
I'm sorry, I might have it wrong.
Yeah, it's Saturday.
Saturday, yeah, my
Yeah.
fault, yeah. Did I say something?
You said Sunday, May
Oh, my
10th.
fault.
Right.
Yeah, my fault, I had it right here too. And yeah, other than that, I'd just like to let people know, the past 3 weeks, I've been trying to play some soccer out at Lenape, but the weather's just been absolutely terrible, so really haven't been able to go out there much. But I did just go out yesterday, with some friends and family. We were just setting up, just playing some soccer, had some local kids come out and play as well. And you know, if anyone's ever interested, I think Sunday sounds better than Monday, because sometimes I might have a meeting or might be involved in some other things, so. I don't know, I'll try and do Sunday and Monday, but if anyone's interested, Lenape Park, probably after let's say 3 o'clock. I'd like for people to come out, just play some soccer, just to do something and have fun. Doesn't matter who you are, what age, just come out and have some fun, you know, so. Yeah, other than that, that's all I got to report.
You, Councilwoman Engelhardt.
Thank you. I've just got 2 things. The park cleanup is still scheduled for April 26th from 10 to 12 a.m. On Saturday. And code enforcement stats, I spoke to Gabe Giuliani last week. It's been pretty quiet, but for the month of March, there were 12 property maintenance cases. 7 were code enforcement cases, 0 liens, 2 over reports, and 1 summons. So that's year to date, 28, 20, 0, 4, and 4.
We did receive another park grant application
I saw that.
exactly from the county, exactly
Yes,
like last year.
Exactly, yes. I'd like to get together with.
Well, I sent that off to
Oh, good.
Mike Campion and Remington Vernon to continue the flood remediation project, because, you know, the money we got last year wasn't enough to do the whole thing.
Right,
So-
right. I thought last year was for I thought we had applied for like the pedestrian, like move, to get it to be less floody in the.
Yeah, but it's like.
We're but it was only like a
We got
third
the-
of the money.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so we're putting it toward the same thing.
Yes.
That's what I was
Get
gonna
it to
talk
stop
about. Perfect,
Being
that's
amok.
exactly
Okay.
what I'd like to hear. Thank you.
Councilwoman Fajardo?
Only thing that I would like to let everybody know is we still need a new secretary for the planning board. I have spoken with the chair. And we've also contacted the CFO to ensure that we're following the correct process for this hiring. So in the interim, I may be the note taker, and I ask for the community's patience with my not so great note taking skills as both being on the committee or on the board and being the note taker at the same time. That's it.
Thank you. Councilman Levitt?
Sure, thank you.
The Environmental Commission is, we've been investigating issues with deer feeding, and we may or may not be recommending an ordinance to limit deer and wildlife feeding within the borough, in the future. If there are any concerned residents out there who have had issues with deer feeding, we do, encourage them to attend the next Environmental Commission meeting, which is, I don't recall when exactly, but it is on the borough website. We are still working on updating regulations regarding light pollution. You may have seen an item on the agenda, a resolution recognizing next week as International Dark Sky Week. And I just want to give a thanks to Councilman John Cashworth up in the Clinton town for sending me this so we could join them in recognizing the week. And the need for more stringent light pollution regulations here in Hardin County and the state of Jersey. We're nice guys, one of our most precious resources. You will also see on the agenda tonight, the Shade Tree Commission has requested an increase to the in lieu payments for tree planting requirements for site plan approval from the planning board. This funds programs like Adopt a Tree, which is currently accepting applications, and their budget does go very quickly. So if you're interested, I recommend residents apply now. And like Councilman Aria said, the next week Shade Tree Commission will be at the Samuel Fleming House on April 25th. At 2 p.m. for a tree planting ceremony, and all are welcome to attend.
Is it 2 p.m. or 2:30 p.m.?
Two or 2:30,
I was
it's a
told
wonderful
2:30.
question. I honestly don't know.
Hang
I
on.
believe it was
It's on
2
my
o'clock.
calendar.
Make it early and get a tour of the building.
Yeah, there you go.
Hang on. What's the date, April what?
It's only
My God,
It's 2:30.
is it?
Yeah,
All right, well, 2:30 it is.
okay, do you want to discuss the Shade Tree fee increase request at this time? Do you want to wait for the introduction?
I was gonna wait till they introduce it,
Okay.
whatever works.
Whatever, that's fine, we can talk about it then.
Sure.
Councilman Long?
Sure, thank you. Number of things. So police, month of March saw 31 criminal investigations, 10 arrests. There were 17 motor vehicle crashes, 4 of which included commercial vehicles, and there were 0 injuries reported from any of these crashes. This is good news, of course. On the community policing front, on March 11th, Corporal Kidd and Patrolman Saliba attended a special program with Salvation Army. During the event, they engaged with the children by reading stories and playing games. This interactive experience aims to foster positive connections, create a fun, supportive environment for kids. The officers enjoyed spending time with the children, helping to build a sense of community and providing a memorable experience for everyone involved. So thank you, sir. April 3rd, the Flemington Police Department will past tense, a bingo game at Herman Cap. Special thanks to ShopRite and Rita's Italian Ice for helping with prizes. Upcoming events on April 26th, the department will be participating in Operation Take Back. This is that nationwide initiative aimed at providing public with a safe, convenient, responsible way to dispose of unused or expired prescription medications. Also on the 26th, from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., the Flemington Police Department with Safe Harbor, located at 3 Main, will be collecting gently used kids' toys and food items for families in need. On May 6th, from 4 p.m. to 7, the police department will be hosting Happy Meal with a Cop at McDonald's on Rayville Ave. Police-related handouts for the children that will be available. On June 14th, a big event is planned. At the Shops of Flemington, the police department is going to be partnering with the Office of Emergency Management and our fire department, as well as the Flemington Road and Rescue Squad, the Department of Public Works, and the Hunter County Office of Emergency Management for basically a public safety day. It's gonna be a good time. Again, that's June 14th. And the chief of police has nominated 5 officers: Lieutenant Soriano, Sergeant McNally, Detective Garabrand, Patrolwoman Aquino, and Patrolman Saliba to the Hunter County 200 Club for recognition of at their annual Merit and Valor Awards ceremony in connection with an incident that occurred on March 8th, which I'll have more to talk about once the awards.
2024,
What did I say?
you didn't,
No, March 8th, 2024, that's, yes, sorry. Yeah, I'll have more to say about those once the awards are given, but that's gonna be Thursday, May 15th, 2025, and I plan on attending. So there's a sign that'll be going up at the police station. The police department is collaborating with the Flemington Community Partnerships, Robin Lapidus, their executive director, on the purchase of a new message board. Police department sign will be installed in front of the police station. Top portion of the sign will read Flemington Borough Police Department with a digital message board beneath it to display safety information, community updates, and important public notification. In addition to this project, the department will also be supporting other safety initiatives in the surrounding area in partnership with the SCP. Crossing guards, recently the New Jersey Division of Labor, POSHA, has been conducting unannounced audits of crossing guards across the state. These audits focus on the training, equipment, and supervision of crossing guards that were initiated in response to several incidents where crossing guards were struck by vehicles. As part of this statewide effort, the compliance officer visited Flemington on March 20th, 2025 for safety inspection. The officer reviewed crossing guard records, equipment, and school crossing locations. No violations were found during the inspection and no corrective actions were required. State of New Jersey Department of Labor and Workforce Development later confirmed these findings in an official letter. Just an update on police construction, police department construction, I should say. We are currently waiting for the security company to begin work on installing wiring for the doors, computer lines, and cameras. The contractor, Adam Gazawaski, I believe, has been asked to provide a completion date, and we'll get back to them soon with that information. And as usual, a message for the community: if you or someone you know has experienced domestic violence, you are not alone. Help is available. Please report any incidents to the police department. Your safety and well-being matters. All reports are handled with care and confidentiality. In case of an emergency, call 911 immediately. Fire department will be, very important, holding their annual Easter flower sale fundraiser this weekend at the firehouse. Starts on Thursday and Friday, and it's at 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. both those days. Saturday, it takes place 10 a.m. to 3. It's usually a success, so I urge everyone to get down here when you can, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. The rescue squad, just some quick stats. There was, in March, there were 277 emergency calls. By municipality, we got 54 of those calls spread across the region, 203 in Raritan Township, 13 in Delaware Township, East Amwell, Salt Forest, Stockton Borough 1, Clinton Township 1, and Franklin Township 1. During the month of March, the rescue squad participated in Hunter Central High School's First Responder Day. The squad conducted a joint drill with the Flemington Fire Department, reviewing patient movement skills, burn injuries, and bleeding control with their members and the squad's newer members. Squad's Rescue Services Unit participated in a Hardin County Technical Rescue Task Force drill involving rope rescue and high-angle skills in Holland Township. RSU has conducted 2 additional in-house rescue drills during the month. 2 rescue squad members completed some swiftwater rescue operations courses. 2 members completed the boat operator course, and 2 others completed the high wheeled vehicles flood response course. And finally, this is just a final little note from me. There's on tonight's agenda, we have a proclamation celebrating National Autism Awareness Month. In recent years, we've been calling it Autism Awareness / Acceptance Month. But I did want to just say, during this Autism Acceptance Month of 2025, we should strive to move beyond myths and misinformation surrounding autism spectrum disorder, ASD, and toward a better understanding of it. We should have a desire to be more inclusive and respectful of those on the spectrum and their families. Autism is not something to fear. It cannot be fixed. Autism is a natural expression of human diversity. For those uninitiated, neurodivergence is the term the community uses. Neurodivergent individuals experience, think, and interact with the world much differently than their neurotypical peers. Differently, not less. The more our society is able to learn about and accept those on the spectrum, the better our world will be. So this month and beyond, let's commit to learning more about ASD and creating communities where autistic individuals feel seen, supported, and celebrated, not stigmatized, not feared, and not less. Awareness is just the first step, and acceptance is our goal. And that's my report.
Thank you very much. Council President Parker.
Sure, just so that you know, I don't know that I ever shared this with you, but I have a nephew who is autistic. He's Asperger, as a matter of fact, and he's brilliant, actually. He's been on the honor roll since he's been in like 7th grade. And he's very functional, and my sister taught autistic kids. So I just have a great respect for the whole autistic conversation. And I do agree with you. I mean, there's all different types of autism. And it is to be acknowledged, and it is to be respected, and it is to be talked about. So I agree with you. I actually hear you and I feel you. So a couple of things for me. One is that I attended a meeting, FCP, FID, I should say, sponsored a meeting with all the businesses. They did two different meetings. One was on Stengel for all the Stengel businesses, and the other one was on for the Main Street businesses. And there was upward of 70 businesses that attended the meeting. It was extremely informative. It was to kind of reiterate what the purpose of FIT is and also how they should be working with one another as well. So I did do a presentation along with the others with the presentation. We also had the county that was there, members of the county was there, and a member of the Chamber of Commerce was there. It's a great initiative, and it's something that I've been pushing and they've been pushing and they finally put together so that they can have it. And it's one of many that they're going to have. Doesn't mean that we got everyone, but we did have a great start and really, really great responses from the business owners that were attended. And the next initiative would be for one of the things I'm also committed with is for those who didn't attend, that I am going to go and knock on their doors. And what's very, very interesting about this, it wasn't just retail owners, it was businesses overall. It was a combination of everyone, and everyone had something to say and everyone had something to add. It was not a negative thing at all. It was more informative and it was more about, okay, now we get it. So I'm looking forward to many more of those. And again, I want to keep that initiative going. I want to just keep that moving along. So I take my hat off to Robin and to Ally for pulling this together and making this happen. Speaking of which, I also went to a conference, it's called Main Street Conference, which is all about the community partnerships and people like Robin who are servicing business owners and things like that. What was really, really eye-opening, it was excellent, first of all. I am telling you, none of us know what she actually does. Her colleagues across the board, these are people from across the United States, well-attended, have some of the same angst that Robin experiences. And it gave me a whole different level of, okay, now I get this, and what they're trying to do about it to make that happen. The other thing that's good about this is that, things like zoning and parking and construction and redevelopment and all of those things were brought up, and there were actual seminars on each one of those things, addressing those things and the do's and the don'ts and what we've learned and best practices. It was absolutely phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. I've learned so much, and now I understand what I need to do and what this council needs to do to support this effort, because this is a profession that no one really knows about. Right? It is a profession, it's not a job. It's not someone that walks in and posts. It is an actual profession, which I just didn't know about. And I think I can't imagine that any of us knew about this. And it's one to be respected. It is also one that we kind of need to take a step back and say, okay, what's going on? What do we need to do? What is their goal, what they're trying to do? Now, that said, one of the things that I got in a conversation with one of the people there on the board of this conference is, it also has to be a reset period as well. And one of the things I will compliment Robin on is that there has been a reset. I mean, sometimes you have to call the baby ugly, and nobody wants to call the baby ugly, but the baby's ugly sometimes. So once you do that and you lay it all out, then you give people a chance to regroup and either to take it as woe is me, or to take it and say, yep, I get you, I hear it, this is what I'm gonna do. And I think what you're gonna hear tonight is that's gonna be some of that. It's okay, taking what has been pushed and kind of hammered, and then taking it as not as you're beating me up, but as I hear you and I've learned, and thank you for pushing me. So, but that's what I heard throughout the conference as well as I started talking with people, but I'll let them talk about that a little bit more. The other thing that came out is that I did not know that Margaret Roos, the owner of Margaret Roos woman-owned business, has been here for 42 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know it. I'm saying I didn't know it. Listen to what I said. I did not know it. But we all know that, but no one's done anything to celebrate. That is something to be celebrated. 42 years as a woman-owned business in Flemington is something that should be celebrated. Where there's a proclamation, where there's a plaque, where whatever it is, we need to do this. We really need to do it. I was shocked. Said, what? And the history that she talks about, the people who've been in her restaurant, people that she's encountered, that's history. That's something that should be talked about and put in paper and a part of the Flemington history. We're worried about buildings and this. We should be worried about the people that are here as well, that contributed to this community and helped this community grow. So I'm really gonna be pushing that because I think that this is something that we really need to do. I've already talked to Robin and to Ally about this, and I really think we need to have a celebratory type of congratulations for her being in this town for 42 years and sustaining. And I could not believe her age when she told it to me. I was like, what? And still going. So kudos to her. The last thing I will say is I did meet the owner of the restaurant, the new restaurant that's coming on called Deserve. It will be a pastry and donut shop during the day and then a culinary venture at night. They've got, he's pretty interesting guy, and kind of knows some of the same people I know. And I'm really looking forward to him coming on board. I know that you guys are working with him pretty closely to make sure that all the things he needs to do with HPC and all of those people, seeing the colors, went into the restaurant, he showed it to me. It's gonna be really, really cool. I'm really, really excited. Anyway, that's what I have, and I thank you guys.
Thank you. Before I wrap up these reports, Councilman Levitt's report reminded me regarding the night sky. The Little League came in a couple of meetings ago about their lease. They were in last year also about their lease. Chris did look at it. It has a 25-year extension that is legal that the council could approve. I did talk to some of the board members at Little League. In one of the big storms, they had all their light poles are huge. One of them came down. It's $40,000 to replace. They are now fundraising to replace that light. And they told me that as they have to replace these lights, they are also replacing the heads with higher efficiency LED that will be pointed down and get it away from pointing down, William Street and Main Street as each needs to be done to get it to a better night sky. So I do want to see a provision. I mean, they're doing it on their own. I didn't even have to tell them that, but I do think that we need to memorialize something like that in the lease. That as the heads are replaced on the poles, that they will make them night sky friendly and follow. I don't know, maybe Councilman Levitt can give some verbiage, and I'd like to bring that to the board. To vote on the extension of their lease for another 25 years at the next council meeting, if everybody's okay with that. Because they are putting in such a financial commitment, they need to have some kind of security. Okay. Everybody good with that? All right, so Councilman Levitt, can you maybe give Chris some verbiage for,
Think of something. I haven't had to
or
think
point him in a
of,
direction, or I can give you contacts over at the league. But.
They don't generally leave theirs on all night.
Oh, no,
Like
they
some
generally
others.
turn them off by 10 unless the game is in OT.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're supposed to be done and on, following or, all of that. So, okay, so thank you, and thanks for reminding me of that. Well, public comment session number 1, anybody from the public wishing to speak on any matter, please come forward and state your name and address for your record. Okay. Yes, please, please.
I didn't know if you called on here.
No, it's because I lost the fence.
I'm Phil Briner, 7 West Road in the borough. It has been a little over a month now since the restrictions, the parking permits went in on West Road. It's worked very well. I already contacted the police and DPW folks a little while ago to thank them for how efficiently I think they rolled this out. And I just wanted to come in here and say thank you to you as well. I think I can speak for all of us that we really feel like we've gotten our street back. And it makes a difference. So thank you for taking care of that for us. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else from the public? Then need your name and address for the record, please.
Jack Coombs, 102 Park Avenue. And if it wasn't for Tapped In, seeing that you were making a one-way street and diagonal parking, I wouldn't be here. I want to, at this time, say that we request, not asking, that Park Ave between Corcoran and North Main be included in ordinance 2025-11 for angled parking zone. I have been asking this since the realignment. We have been given every reason why not. What is good for the Cuss properties is good for the citizens of Park Avenue. All of my neighbors know. They know I've been fighting for this. I've requested it when it first came on. There's been a lot of whatever in the past. We have issues with parking. I'm glad you fixed West Road. Park Ave in front of Steve's convenience store is a mess. With diagonal parking, like I said then, in front of my house, which is 75 feet wide, I can put 6 parking spots in front of my house. My neighbors have 100-foot lots, but it's close to the end of the street, so you're only gonna get 5 there. We can turn that whole street around just like you're planning on doing for Cuss. And at this time, if you're not going to include it, which your ordinance has a semicolon, so I think you knew I was gonna come here and do this. And if you include this now, I would say we can go forward with it. If not, I want this tabled so you can discuss why, when the fire marshal came in and I went right before here, I measured the road. Our road is 30 feet across. Guess what it is between Cloister or it's 30 feet. So there's no reason what they told me that a fire truck can't get down there. There's no reason why anything is there. And then I had another thing on the thing, page 5, Park Avenue is blank. Why is that? So don't table it, then I guess we're gonna have to see what we can do. And I'll be back for the other ones, unless you want to hear them all now.
No,
Okay,
no, unless you speak in
But-
the public hearing.
but Mayor, we've been coming to you about parking.
So
We've got signs.
let me just tell you that the parking committee, oh, please don't get up.
No, I'm getting up. I want in with that ordinance.
Okay, so
So
then you have to come back to the public hearing.
I'm here for the
The
public.
public hearing, this is only, oh, this is the public hearing, right? okay.
Yeah, it was supposed to be
All
the
right.
28th.
But I want to address what you're bringing up about spring. We have a parking committee, Councilwoman Bissaro was on it, Councilwoman Engelhardt's on it, our attorney comes, our traffic consultant comes, our engineer comes, and we have our planner comes, our DPW superintendent comes, our police chief comes. We had the fire marshal come specifically to talk about the street. And he, really, I can't even tell you how passionately against putting angled parking on Spring Street he was with us. Because of the fact that your buildings are so high up. So the difference between Spring Street and Park Avenue is the driveways and where the height, either of you can, or you, Counselor can jump in. That the hoses have to be run so far, and that if they cannot get close up to where your house is, that the more cars that are there, the more difficult it is to stage one of the fire trucks.
Okay, Marcia, but the same thing is on Spring Street is the same thing. The same area, the same thing. But since Cuss is in charge of it, you're not worrying about the citizens. And then I have to say, why didn't you include the Park Avenue? Now, he said no for us, If he said no to Spring Street, then this is dead.
So this
Or
was
they, or
not,
put Park Avenue on here,
this
that's
was
it.
not Jack Huss' idea, I just want you to know that.
Well,
This
whatever.
was coming from
This is
the parking committee to get angle parking in there. But again, the hotel has a sprinkler system, your houses do not. This is about how high up your houses sit and how far away the water system is.
Marcia, my house sits less than 20 feet from the sidewalk.
I'm not talking about from the
How-
sidewalk, I'm talking about elevation.
That's what he said. Again, to run a hose, if you're saying that Flemington doesn't have hoses that go up a step and what do you call it? If you bring the ladder truck, you're gonna shoot it straight in. Any house there. And again, with the cars being on the road, like I told the fire chief, if that's the case, the cars are all gonna be gone before the trucks get there. It's not,
You can't guarantee that if people are.
I can't guarantee that, Marcia, but you know what? That's people's livelihood. We don't have, again, the citizens have been asking for this for years.
So we looked
For
at,
you-
we
for-
looked at adding
For-
back the Main Street parking, because there used to be parking on North Main Street. We considered doing that, adding additional parking on North Main for you all, and we decided that that was a safety hazard. But, you know, you can park on, Corcoran, and like, you know, none of us were willing to buck the fire marshal about putting your buildings in peril, we're just not willing to do it.
Marcia,
Can I just ask?
I need you to go on the record, Mimi, and your
Okay.
name and address for the record.
Mimi Coombs, 102 Park Avenue. I just have a quick question for Marcia, Fire Chief, whoever here. Explain Bennell Street to me, Allen Street when they're parking on both sides, how a truck can even get through there. To me, it is such a joke that this town keeps saying you can't do, but look at all these other streets that do. We had asked, can we park on both sides of the street since it's a one-way street? Have you tried to go down Bennell Street with a car coming the other way? It's impossible. So explain that to me. Oh, I know, they don't have driveways, they don't have this. We've heard it all. You put up those 3 stupid signs on our street trying to appease us, which it has done nothing. Half the cars that park there do not have stickers. Your building guy, property guy has never come by. So I'm not sure, other than putting holes into the brand new sidewalk, that those signs did. But while I'm here, someone here, please explain, number 1 Bennell Street.
What I can tell you, the fire marshal said to us was, we already have enough bad streets, please don't make any more. And I'll give you a perfect example, Kapner Street down by the Justice Complex. This council a year ago was ready to put residential parking right down from the post office. It's already on one side of the street. And so we were ready to put it on the other side of the street. Ordinance was introduced to allow residential parking only on the other side of the street. It was stopped by the fire department. They said, don't make it worse. So there is no parking on the other side of the street. That's what the fire marshal said to us about your street. Don't make it worse.
But Bennell and the rest of the
Here we-
streets can continue to do whatever they want. So in other words, tough luck to the citizens of Park Avenue. There's just nothing we can do for you. That's what you're
I'm
saying?
telling you, the fire department,
Okay, but there's gotta be
worried about-
something else that can be done on that street. I know you say, oh, Park Corcoran, we're gonna do north, but we can't do north. You have, there's a billion excuses.
but you can park on North and you can park in.
you just said you can't.
You just said you can't, you
No,
just
you
said
can.
north.
No, North Main Street, we were talking about putting back parking on North Main Street.
Right,
And you're.
and you just said you can't.
Well, we just felt like that it was not necessarily gonna be a safe situation for y'all parking there and getting out of your cars on North Main Street. So that was taken away, you know, years ago,
I didn't even know it was
because nobody used
a
it,
possibility.
nobody used it,
Right.
because it wasn't safe.
Right,
So what are you gonna say, Councilwoman?
I was just looking back at my notes from the parking committee from this year so far, because, and I wanna, and we'll talk about more about I don't really wanna talk about the ordinance change that's been introducing tonight. I wanna speak specifically about your condition. I want to assure you that, first of all, we're not lumping these together. We've been focused on one area and then another area and then another area, so one does not have to do with the other. And I can't be more sincere about that. We really have been looking at each individual area, just like we were looking at West Street. We have been looking at your area, so it's really important that we don't say, hey, they get this and we get this, because we're all neighbors, right? So,
Yeah, okay.
so, well, I'm being sincere here, so I hope you appreciate that. Now, that being said, we meet regularly on the parking committee, and clearly this is still a problem, even with the signage was the one thing that we were able to, say, all agree upon and say, hey, this is where we should go from here. Let us sit down and talk more at the parking committee level, because it's clearly still a problem. So, but I don't want to mix it up with other,
Okay.
resolutions that we're trying to
I'm
move
sorry,
forward.
I'm sorry.
Spring
Okay,
Street
well,
should not
let me-
go forward. if
One
Park
has
Avenue
nothing to
goes
do with the other, and that's what I'm trying to.
Well,
the
has
attorney's here.
the parking committee bothered to see if those signs that you put up have done
Well,
anything?
clearly
Because
that's,
I'm telling you tonight, they've done
That-
absolutely positively nothing.
and I just wrote that down to follow up on that, that's the first time I've heard about that, so I think that
I had
is
told the mayor, I
okay,
had
well, it's
emailed
the
the
first
mayor.
time that I'm
And then you
hearing
pass
this,
that
so
on.
that being said,
You
and I'm
did
sure
pass
she
it on?
I'm sure she would have, if she didn't already in a parking meeting, and like I said, I'm reviewing my notes, she probably would have at the next parking meeting, so.
Yeah, well,
Like-
she said it after the last one.
Right, so my point is, we are actively working on all different locations in town, and I promise you, I will make sure that we at least put it on the agenda to discuss again at our next meeting, which is in another week and a half, and start to really dig down into how we can make your street better.
Well, then table the Spring Street.
That has
for the next
nothing
month.
to do with this. They really are separate items, and that's
It's
all I
the same-
have to
it's the
say.
same
So are
thing,
we
the same.
allowed to come to the parking committee meetings?
If I'm going to have, these are committee meetings, they are not, they don't,
I got a
they're
good
not,
idea.
they're
Why don't you
not
come over to
commissions
our
or
house
boards,
and
so
watch?
they are private meetings.
I
But
will.
if I
Parks up.
have, if I
The
do
parks up
invite you,
the
I,
back.
excuse me,
Oh, 15 years
excuse
ago.
me, if I do invite you, I would wanna make sure our fire marshal is there and that the necessary, cause sometimes our police chief isn't there, sometimes our attorney isn't there, sometimes our planner's not there. So I wanna make sure all the right people are there. Especially our fire marshal, cause he does not come to the meetings unless we ask him to come. We specifically asked him to come to talk about your street.
But I assure you that we've actually had our planner look at the plan and come back with some suggestions. We've had the traffic engineer come back with some suggestions. So we clearly need to keep looking and keep figuring out what a
The
solution.
traffic engineer measured your street, he counted out how many spots could go in there, he looked at it at angle parking. And then he talked to the fire marshal said, yeah, no. He brought it back to the parking committee, we called the fire marshal, we wanted him to tell us why no, and he did, and he was, our responsibility as elected officials is health, safety, and welfare. Health, safety, and welfare.
Well,
Whether
just
you
like I'm
have,
saying-
whether you park on Corcoran safely, or you park in front of your own home safely, or you make a deal with Steve safely.
Can't do that.
So, but it's safety, so if our fire marshal is saying, allowing more cars here where we can't get the ladder truck closer to an individual house, which sits equivalent to 5 stories up on a hill at their top bedroom and their roof, it is not creating a safe situation. Please don't make it worse like other streets in the borough. I mean, the fire department loses sleep over William Street, you didn't even mention that one. William Street's only parking on one side of the street. I mean, it's a very narrow street, it's probably the most narrow street in the town.
Well, and then there's Brown Street too. Have you tried to go down Brown Street when there's parking on both sides?
It's still not as bad as Benel. I agree with you. I mean, I can't disagree with you about that.
But you just got done saying the fire marshal said no to the Spring Street and you're going above.
No, he didn't say spring, he said to park.
You said Spring.
Then it was,
in
I'm
your
sorry,
note.
then I misspoke.
So Susan's gonna come over and does anybody even know where we're talking about or?
Because
I know,
and I actually have gone over, when we have these items on our agenda, just like I'm sure Adrian does when there's an application from the planning board. we walk and take a look at what's going on before we even discuss the issue. So, yeah, just like I went over to West Street and said, hey, what's going on over there? Yes, I have, and I will go back again, I promise you. And, you know, I promise you, we will discuss this again at another parking committee meeting. I don't know what will come of it, but that's what I can promise.
Just one more. They are each street, and I actually got a little resistance on West Avenue. But
First Road.
West Road, I'm sorry. I got a little resistance on West Road, trying to push that through, because I actually went out there and was telling people not to park there on a Saturday afternoon. So, you will probably see me out there being nosy.
Be great,
I have gone up there though as part of the parking committee. I'm a person that you can tell me something 100 times. When I go out and see it for myself, and I know precisely the signs that you're talking about. Now, I would say to this, when we've talked about resident only parking. Right?
Yeah,
We've had this,
we
parking
brought
permission.
that up years ago too.
Right,
Yes.
so that needs to, that's something that I think needs to, that's something I'm passionate about, is making sure that our residents today take precedence over anybody from outside of the community coming in for services. We absolutely want them, but I don't know how long you've lived there, I mean,
35 years.
so we've only been here 13 years, I'm gonna be pretty ticked off, I live pretty close to that development, I'm on Maple Avenue. So I do understand like this feeling like, hey, well, this is happening here, why isn't it happening here? But you will probably see me out there this Easter weekend, sitting down with my dog, just to try and see how they're coming and going, so we can
All
help.
right, well, then that's the next step, resident parking only. We've asked for that over the years. Again, we don't have all the
I have all
reasons
that.
why, okay? My
I have all
husband has
that.
all the information as to why we can't do that. You can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do anything except for, oh, let's put up these 3 stupid signs and we'll keep them quiet for a while.
Me.
But again,
We don't have a
Parking
5-story
committee has
house.
been working on resident only permitting
Right.
for the last 12 months almost. So I can
It does
tell you,
list.
we are working hard to incorporate that
We are
into
very
our,
close.
into our neighborhoods as well. So that will also influence your neighborhood, which is a good thing. So
and who's gonna
All I'm
patrol that?
asking
Who's
is
gonna
that
make sure?
all I'm asking is that you give us the grace to do our jobs in a timely fashion and make sure we do our due diligence
Okay.
properly.
We don't own a 5-story house.
No, it's equivalent, the height of your roof, elevation is equivalent to a 4 to 5 story house per the fire marshal.
If my house went on fire, they would not bring a hose to my house. They would bring the ladder and squirt water down.
But they need
It
to be
doesn't
able to
matter.
open up the
It doesn't
truck.
matter how far away that ladder goes up and can come in. I don't wanna hear. You over on Spring Street, the houses are gonna be higher. The apartments on the Custis side are gonna be higher. The houses are going to be just as far away. And not higher, but further away from the curb to their house. And you're putting the cars back at least 20 feet. I know this because I did all this legwork before and I brought it to council when they were gonna take away the parking. I know the benefits of parking, of diagonal parking, and I know the contrast of it. Diagonal parking works fine. You won't have any problems with fire trucks or anything. They don't come down our street. If our block is on fire, it's gonna be on fire. Our neighbors will hear it, will hear the bells go off, they'll move their cars. The fire trucks will not have any problem. And if you're saying it's 5 stories high, they're not bringing a pumper truck with hoses to knock it out.
And when
They're
they
bringing a pump-
open up the fire truck and it's got stanchions on either side,
I know that, Marcia,
Okay.
but you're saying my road is 30 feet and it can't handle it. Spring Street is 30 feet. I have the measurements on my phone. I have it on old school tape and digital on the phone. 30 feet. It's like the Hoosiers movie. When the guy measures it from the rim to the floor, it's 10 feet. It's the same distance. On Spring Street, you gotta go further. On our house, yeah, you know what? You have to go higher. Because the guy who did those houses are the same architect that did them all and did them all just a little bit different. They give it character. So your 5 stories and what I think are different. The hydrant is right at the corner of our place. There's no excuse for it. There's no water. There's nothing. You can bring it down the 7-foot sidewalks that you had to put in there.
Well, we will absolutely bring your comments back.
Well,
to
again, you
the
should
fire
table,
marshal.
you should table the Spring Street until you see us.
Okay. Anybody else from the public? Seeing none,
Yeah.
approval of minutes, regular meeting, March 24, 2025. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Nichols will second.
Roll call, please. I'm sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any abstaining for those? Executive session, March 24, 2025. Have a motion, please.
So moved.
Is there a
Parker second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any no's or abstentions? Were you approving those, right?
He wasn't.
Okay, a special one, okay. Special meeting, April 2nd, 2025.
On April 2nd.
No.
Oh, April 2nd.
Yeah, so we have a motion to approve the special meeting.
Long moved.
Is there a second?
Parker second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstention? Councilman Ari is abstaining.
Don't surprise me.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, that was it, right, yeah, it was second, was that?
Which one did you miss?
He missed the April 11th.
No, but you missed one before that when you were.
Oh, that was in March.
Right.
Also, he doesn't have to abstain.
Okay.
There's no.
That's fine, all right.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, so he didn't say, he said yes. All right, proclamation celebrating National Freedom Awareness Month. Councilman, Lauren, would you like to read that?
Oh, yeah, sure. I do have to apologize to Carla. I didn't give, the numbers are different, but the years in the proclamation should be, because it says 2024, just have to change it. The edit, no biggie. I forgot.
Look at it.
That's all right. It's from last year.
Okay.
So yeah, the resolution celebrating National Autism Awareness Month, as I previously stated in my report, we also have been referring to it as Acceptance Month, interchangeably. Whereas autism disorder is a developmental disability encompassing a broad range of conditions characterized by challenges associated with social skills, repetitive behavior, speech and nonverbal communication. And whereas as of March 2024, about 1 in 36 children has been identified with autism spectrum disorder, according to estimates from the CDC's Autism and Developmental Disabilities Monitoring Network. And whereas according to the CDC 2020 Community Report, snapshot of autism spectrum disorder in New Jersey, 1 in 32 children were identified with ASD in 2016. And whereas autism is 4 times more likely to occur in boys than in girls, but can affect anyone, regardless of race, ethnicity, or other factors. And whereas in 2015, it was estimated the United States incurred approximately $268 billion in costs for autism research, educational spending, housing, transportation, employment, therapeutic services, caregiver costs, other insurance and non-covered expenses and productivity losses. And whereas early diagnoses and intervention programs lead to significantly improved outcomes for individuals with autism. And whereas April 2025 is designated as National Autism Awareness Month to increase public awareness of the need for support to support individuals with autism and the family members, educators, and other professionals who teach and care for individuals with autism. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the governing body of the municipality of Flemington Borough and the County of Hunterdon celebrates National Autism Awareness Month from April 1st through the 30th, 2025. And be it further resolved that the Flemington Borough governing body recognizes and commends the family members and children with autism for their sacrifices and dedication in providing for the special needs of children with autism, and stresses the need to begin early intervention services soon after a child is diagnosed with autism.
Thank you very much. Consent agenda, resolution 2025-61, resolution declaring 3 vehicles surplus and authorizing donating the vehicles to the Flemington American First Aid and Rescue Squad, resolution 2025-62, resolution authorizing the release of $250 road opening bond to Jennifer Morgan, resolution 2025-63, resolution approving the refund and redemption of tax sale certificate on block 28 lot 11, resolution 2025-64, resolution approving a refund and redemption of a tax sale certificate on block 46 lot 10. Can I have a motion to approve all of these resolutions?
Local move.
Is there a
Parker
second?
second.
Roll, please.
Councilman Arias,
Yes.
Councilwoman Engelhardt. Yes. Councilwoman Tesoro,
Yes.
Councilman Levitt,
Yes.
Council Vice President Long,
Yes.
and Council President Parker.
Yes.
Introduction of ordinances, ordinance 2025-12, an ordinance amending section 16, special events of chapter 3, police regulations, clarify fee assessments for certain events. Can I have a motion to introduce?
Well, move.
Is there a second?
Sorrel, second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Arias,
Yes.
Councilwoman Engelhardt,
Yes,
Councilwoman Fasar,
Yes.
Councilman Lovett,
Yes,
Council Vice President Long.
Yes.
And Council President Parker.
Yes,
A public hearing scheduled for April 28th, right? Yes. Ordinance 20, today's the 14th, right? Yeah. Ordinance 2025-13, an ordinance amending chapter 16, design standards, section 1632, landscape standards, subsection A11, tree replacement alternatives of the Borough Code to amend the tree contribution fees. Before we introduce it, does anybody on council have any issues or questions for Councilman Levitt regarding the increase, which proposes an increase for tree replacement at up from $500 to $900. I know it's been a very long time since the borough increased its fee. Which trees like taking into more expensive. Anybody have any questions?
Just a general question of the amount, you had said it's been a while, but what was the?
according to the code, the original ordinance on this fee was put in place in 2005. So I did rigorous calculations by figuring out what something in 2005 would cost compared to now. And this is pretty much perfectly in line with the rate of inflation since 2005. So I will say it is a little more than the actual cost of planting a tree. That is somewhere around $750, all things told. And on top of that, since this is a payment in lieu of planting the required amount of trees on the site for a given application, I guess you could consider the rest a slight penalty on top of that. So that's where the number arrived.
Well, I planted a tree from Rutgers, which is where the state tree, it's their tree, the tree was $600 and the planting fee was $250, so it was $850 all in for a tree. So I think it's pretty much right in line.
yeah, I agree.
And that's without the inflation of the tree costs going up.
Yeah, and I did the same thing, like in front of my yard. It was
And I
an
think
expensive tree.
and I think that, you know, when you're sitting on planning board and you're looking at an application and they're doing the payment in lieu of, we all sit there and hem and haw over every tree and say, where can you fit it? Where can you, let's and try to work with the applicant. So we'd rather see trees than payment, to be honest with you. So maybe raising their fee to the the proper inflation rate now will encourage them to do that.
That's a whole.
Can I have a motion to introduce?
Level move.
Is there a second?
Parker second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Arias,
Yes.
Councilwoman Engelhardt.
Yes,
Councilwoman Fasar,
Yes.
Councilman Lovett,
Yes,
Council Vice President Long,
Yes.
and Council President Parker.
Yes,
Public hearing scheduled for April 28th. Ordinance 2025-14. An ordinance providing for the acquisition of a fire truck for the borough of Flemington and the county of Hunterdon, New Jersey, and appropriating $475,000 therefore from the capital improvement fund.
We'll move.
Is there a second?
Parker second.
Roll call, please.
Okay, Councilman Arias,
Yes.
Councilwoman Engelhardt,
yes,
Councilwoman Fasar,
Yes.
Councilman Lovett,
yes,
Council Vice President Long,
Yes.
Council President Parker.
Yes,
Okay, public hearing scheduled for April 28th. We have a number of public hearings on ordinances, ordinance 2025-9, an ordinance amending chapter 26 zoning, section 2624 highway retail HR district of the Borough Code. The public hearing is, can I have a motion to open up the public hearing to the public?
Engelhardt will move.
Is there a second?
Sorrel, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The hearing is now open to the public. Anybody wishing to speak on ordinance 2025-09, please come up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. And okay, seeing none, can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll move.
Is there a second?
Sorrel, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2025-9?
I'll move.
Is there a second?
Engelhardt will second.
Any discussion?
I thought we were also adding the word distillery onto this. I thought it was one and the same, at least that's what I thought.
I have
Beth's
no
recommendation
idea.
was.
I have no idea. This was sent in by Councilman Lovett and Parker to Chris.
I thought we were using that as one and the same in the definition. That's what I was looking at, so I had
The
to-
underlying, I forget if the underlying definitions for brewery included
Yeah, that's.
distillery, so we
If it does,
decided.
that's fine.
Does it, Chris?
I feel like you're, give me just 5 seconds to find
I
it.
thought that that's what, I thought that that's what.
That's fine, I just wanna make sure that
Okay.
that's
Well, if it
covered,
doesn't, then we should-
because it's kind of silly to go back if, we have the opportunity to write it.
Alright,
now.
so the definition is a use where beer, wine, liquor, or other alcoholic beverage is manufactured, packaged, and distributed for sale
There you
and
go.
consumption. Tasting room and or restaurant shall be included in the use.
Yeah.
That sounds like a distillery.
Yeah,
That
we
sounds
didn't have to put the word in,
Yeah.
it was just, that was, yes, okay.
I just wanted to make sure we were covered without, I don't wanna go through this
So
one.
good.
Any other discussion? Roll call, Carla, please.
Councilman Aaron's,
Yes.
Councilwoman Engelhardt.
Yes.
Councilwoman Fasaro,
Yes.
Councilman Levitt,
Yes,
Council President Long,
Yes.
and Council President.
Yes.
Ordinance, excuse me, ordinance 2025-10, calendar year 2025 ordinance to exceed the municipal budget cost of living allowance and to establish a cap bank when the COLA is equal to or less than 2.5%. NJSA 48:4-45.14. Public hearing, can I have a motion to open up the hearing to the public?
Long move.
Is there a second?
Engelhardt will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The hearing is now open to the public. Anybody wishing to speak on ordinance 2025-10? Come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Seeing none, can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Long move.
Is there a second?
that was second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2025-10?
That will move.
There's a second.
Fasaro, second.
Any discussion? Roll call please.
Councilman Aaron's,
Yes.
Councilwoman Engelhardt.
Yes.
Councilwoman Fasaro,
Yes.
Councilman Levitt,
Yes,
Council Vice President Long,
Yes.
and Council President Parker.
Yes.
Ordinance number 10, ordinance, I'm sorry, not number 10, number 10, ordinance 2025-11, and ordinance amending chapter 7, traffic and 7A, traffic schedules authorizing angle parking spaces along the western portion of Spring Street between Bluefield Avenue and Forestry Place, and to prohibit parking along the eastern portion of the same span of right of way. Can I have a motion to open up this hearing to the public?
Fasaro, move.
Is there a second?
Engelhardt will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hearing is now open to the public. Anybody wishing to speak on ordinance 2025-11, please come to the microphone and give your name and address again for the record.
Jack Coombs, 102 Park Avenue. I hope the $475,000 fire truck you get can do 5 stories. Since you're not going to table the motion, which I strongly suggest you do, I request the schedule on parking that's left off for Park Avenue, saying repealed by 7/8/2019, order 2019-15, and there's 2 lines blank. Someone explain that to me. How could you even do this with blank spots? So what was that about? Is that,
The code company does that, we have nothing to do with that. The code company repeals it, they just insert language like that, that's something that they do, that are technical.
well, again, it's the same situation, same distance away from the curbs, 30 feet. It doesn't matter how high a house is, how far back and deep in the property it is. A house is a house. You would want to save any house in the borough. We've been asking for diagonal parking for years. Well, Phil's gone. He was part of that. I did all this stuff for you guys. Not you guys, because you weren't on the board then and on the council. The right thing to do for the citizens of Park Avenue is to incorporate it in here, make it diagonal parking. That gives us so much more room to park. You won't have people, well, when you build the apartments across the street, guess where they're coming? There's parties all up and down North Main Street, guess where they park? In front of our house. You know what? And we have a 2-hour parking permit sign there. 5 of them now. It doesn't do any good. I can call the cops, they can come and report it that on 6 o'clock, but you know what? After 6 o'clock, they're there until tomorrow morning. I don't have a place where I pay my taxes every single quarter for 35 years. This is, again, table it, go over it, look over, it's the same things, no matter what you say and what the fire chief says. We can go on and on and on. I had an engineering company when we did that a long time ago. It's just insane that you do not listen to the citizens again coming in front of this council. You're doing it for one situation, you should do it for both. Right tonight, let everyone else come in through the next thing. Like I said, I wouldn't know about this if it wasn't for Tapped In saying it was going to happen on the 28th. I just happened to look at the agenda tonight and I said, I want this table, or I want Park Avenue on there. And that's fair. If you guys don't want to do it, table it, come out, look, see, I'll move my cars. I have a 1963 Plymouth Fury. I'll park on an angle at 60 degrees and show you what it looks like. There's enough room for the pumper trunk to come over there. And Marcia says all the apparatus goes down. Guess what? Yeah, you can put the apparatus on the north, on the corner, on the curb, on the other side, and the hydraulics will make it level. It's not a big deal. This is not rocket science. It's what's right. If we came with diagonal parking, how many months ago, Marcia, when you came in office, I said, that's what I would like to see.
And the parking, and I will tell you,
The
our
fire chief,
our
the fire
traffic
marshal.
engineer did not disagree with you.
I know, because again, you're gaining
But
so
then,
much,
yeah.
no, you can even go further than 60 degrees. At any time, you can make that radius however far you want. They just suggested 60 degrees. I wasn't even thinking that, I was thinking more of, like I said, we have all the things, you guys come over, I'll show you the paperwork. What everyone said, they all said the same thing, but again, like my wife said, she just texted me. All those streets that she said here are two-way streets. This is a one-way street. There should be no traffic on it. We have people parking on the other side of the road. I'm gonna address that at the other sections. But again, parking is very dear to us. And if you're going to allow diagonal parking on Spring Street, put them into both.
We'll bring it back to the
That does.
parking committee and talk about it again with the fire marshal.
Well,
possibly
again, then you should
your
table
friend.
it until you get all of your facts straight, because it's still 30 feet. It's still, you can look, I was over there, those houses sit back a lot further. You're not going to run, you're gonna use a pumper truck there too, to get up and in, so I suggest you table it. That's what I said, until you at least look, I'm there every afternoon at 4 o'clock. You can come over tomorrow, and then you can go on and put the resolution back in next meeting, and then if it goes through, it goes through. But do it at one time, instead of saying, oh, we're gonna do it tonight, and don't worry about it, we'll get to you whenever. We're coming tonight to have it done together. It's the same situation, I don't wanna hear five stories. But where you're putting that fire hazard now, it's 7 stories over there. How are you gonna get a truck over there?
You have a sprinkler system.
How do you know I don't have a sprinkler system? How do I know I don't have this and that? It's, again, Marcia, it's the same.
Honestly, Jack, I'm neither a traffic engineer nor a fireman, so I have
You
to
just
go by
said
what my
that's it.
professionals are saying.
Well, they said it's right to do that.
The engineer didn't have a problem, the fire marshal did.
The fire marshal did, because again, no one pushed back and said, why? Show us why. Bring a pumper truck over and show, I'll put my 4 cars in front of my house on a diagonal, whatever diagonal you want. You want 90 degrees, I'll put it 90 degrees, maybe even further. If the pumper truck can't put water onto my house, then it's all for naught. You should just do it immediately. Again, you should table it. If you don't want to include Park Avenue, table it, discuss it at a parking meeting, come together, let us know. All my neighbors say the same thing, from Lauren Andre all the way down. The guy just moved out, so he's not there anymore. I don't know, I can get the owner of the last house. So everyone's in agreement that this is the best thing to do,
Thank you for your comments.
best thing.
Anybody else have any comments on ordinance 2025-11? Hearing none. Do I have a motion to close the hearing to the public?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Thanks, Rob, second.
All in favor, is there a motion to adopt ordinance 2025-11?
Liberal move.
Is there a second?
Engelhardt will second.
Any discussion?
I just had one question, and I know the folks on the traffic committee and the mayor have stated that they will be talking about Park Avenue here, but looking at a map, I'm just curious, and you can, I don't wanna start a big discussion, that's not my point, I just have a very quick question for you. Being unaware of this, not being on the committee, just kind of looking at the map, was there ever discussion about taking the current how the cars are currently parked on that one side of Park Avenue, closer to the homes, making diagonal parking on the other side and then reserving that as fire lane? Is that a possibility?
Didn't we?
Yeah, we had.
We did have that discussion.
A couple different things,
We-
a couple different drafts.
So Jeremy, it really was, I think everybody knows I'm very pro-resident, like just resident, right? Like that's my chief concern. And I know that this has been an issue, and the thing that we were told was that the fire truck has to be able to telescope out to get there. And to be able to have room, so that was one of the things that we looked at. I think he even pushed back on that and saying that wasn't realistic.
He pushed back on everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, yeah,
That doesn't mean we can't still.
I'm hyper focused on the people who live here, being comfortable and having a place to park and having good quality of life. So,
Okay,
We'll bring it back, we'll talk about it some more. We'll continue to talk about it and find a solution. Okay, any other
I have a
discussion?
question.
Yes.
The thing that the code and company or program says here, where it says repealed 2019, there was something there at one point in 2019 that was removed, is that what this means?
Yeah.
Do we know what,
I
do you know what it said?
Carla can tell you.
Well.
Not tonight.
Not tonight.
I don't have access to it, but. Go back.
Just like that.
Again, not instantly, but
I get it.
record online doesn't go that far back, so I don't have access to it.
Alright. But we can find that out before the next park
There's an
committee.
immense amount of free time, which I know she knows so much.
But I think
Go
what's,
back and find
but I think
So
what's,
how-
but I think what's
I didn't know
important.
How would I find it?
We can, my point is,
One at a time, please.
my point is, can we find that out before the next parking committee meeting so that we are all educated on what was in this blank space at one point?
Okay,
Ordinance number 2019-15. We
oh,
don't
I
go
just
that-
have to find that.
Yeah, that's all we
Okay,
need
yeah,
to
that's
find.
fine.
If
We
you
don't
can
have to
pull
go,
that,
we don't go that far back.
I'd appreciate that.
I
But-
can
but I-
get it
Council
tomorrow.
President?
Thank you.
But what I think is important is going back to what everyone is saying is that it's not all inclusive. They're taking street by street, and I think we need to respect, I know it may not be what you wanna hear, but we have to respect that because they are doing the work street by street. So going back and what I heard several times is that the people on the parking committee are willing to take this back for further discussion and further questioning a whole bit. It may not come out to what you want it to be, but at least it's being, all those comments are being taken back, so there's discussion on them and more questioning of the fire marshal to understand what your point of view is and what his point of view is. So I just wanna make sure you understand that there's two different things here. And this has nothing to do with that. I understand that they're the same in the whole bit, but that's not what I'm going with. So you can keep saying that, or you can just listen to
Comment
what
is
I'm
over,
saying.
I'm sorry, Mr. Coontz.
Yeah,
I just-
I know what you're saying.
I just want you to hear what I'm saying and hear that it's two different things. That's all I want you to do.
And I just also wanna, just for the council to know and the public to know, is that this Spring Street restoration is the responsibility of the redeveloper. It needs to be engineered, it has not been engineered and designed, and he is, pushing the borough to get this done so that he can get it designed, holding it back. To hold back, passing this ordinance tonight means 2 weeks have to go by until we introduce a new one, and another 2 weeks before it's adopted, and he's not going to pay an engineer you know, however much money it's gonna cost until he knows it's a done deal.
Mhm.
So, which is why this is on and we really, it's not in the interest of getting the Union Hotel project finished to table this.
Well, and also, Marcia, for Jack's benefit, because I can't speak anymore, the ordinances, we introduce changes to one lines all the time. It's not a big deal if we do come up with a solution that
And then.
that improves your street that happens to be affected in this part of the ordinance. It's no big deal to do this again. So that's why it's, what we're trying to say, it's not all or nothing tonight. Just because we're doing this change tonight, doesn't mean that we can't change your street another night.
Right, okay.
And we want to
If
reassure you.
if it's applicable.
If it's applicable.
Any other discussion? Roll
I'll
call,
address it.
roll
I will
call,
address it.
roll call, please, Carla.
Councilman Arias,
Yes.
Councilwoman Engelhardt.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pizarro,
Yes.
Councilman Levitt,
Yes.
Council Vice President Long.
Yes.
And Council President Parker.
Yes.
Item number 11, FCP 2025 budget. Do we have it, Carla, was there a? I don't have anything to,
It's a little one.
It's in the,
It's in the
It's
thing.
it's in the
I can share it too.
what's the number?
It's a little one. It's right after this ordinance that we just did.
I think I got my finger on it. Ordinance 2025.
It's not an ordinance, it's just a.
No, it's a budget resolution, right?
I can also, you can read the,
That's
I
right.
have the whole one, and the big one, that I want to share. Yes.
We know, but I don't have.
Oh,
a
she's looking for the
resolution title.
resolution.
I'm looking for a resolution.
That's the last one, because remember Friday I told you what
I
we got?
know, where is?
That's a very resolution.
568, approving the special.
there it is, last two pages.
I don't even have a number on the agenda.
Uh,
Thank you,
Yes,
okay.
it is.
Resolution, not on the agenda, there's no
Not on
number.
the front of it.
Resolution 2025-68, resolution approving the 2025 Flemington Special Improvement District budget. Can I have a motion to open this up to the public, please?
Parker,
Is there a second?
Parker second.
All in favor? Okay, this is the public hearing of the FCP budget. Even though it's called a resolution, it is a budget resolution which follows the rules of an ordinance. So I hope you can keep this short and sweet.
Try really hard.
Okay, short and sweet like.
Because we gave it to you as a lovely one page. All right, so just really quickly and for perspective, I just want you to know Main Street America is part of the National Trust for Historic Preservation, and their very short and sweet mission is Main Street America leads an inclusive, impact-driven movement dedicated to re-energizing and strengthening older and historic downtowns, which we are, and neighborhood commercial districts nationwide, which we also are. So that is the work that we do, and we're very glad to be an affiliate member. And I'm here to thank you for giving us time to present the budget. We do board development work every year, and as part of our retreat this year, Council President Parker led a skills assessment of our board members, so we could better foster alignment for each board member as a representative of the business community, to ensure that the breadth of the work that we do falls within our strategic plan. So we feel like we have a broader representation for our members and renewed investment from our board members as we set out to meet our 2025 objectives. We've also designed a budget as a roadmap for our responsible investment in our businesses, our shared public spaces, in our commercial districts, and the economic growth of Flemington Borough overall. Our objectives for 2025 are three. We got it to a top three. So one is to strengthen stakeholder communications and community outreach to ensure that business owners, commercial property owners, and commercial residential property owners receive timely, relevant, and organized information. and that community members are aware of the businesses, events, and other activities hosted by FID or member businesses to drive traffic to the borough of Flemington. The second objective is to position Flemington as a premier destination for businesses to launch, expand, and succeed by fostering a thriving and business-friendly environment, by engaging stakeholders in dialogue, advocating for pro-business policies with you, our local government, addressing vacant, long-term, underserved, unleased properties, maintaining a comprehensive business database, which we're actively working on, and it's not easy, and ensuring the needs of local businesses and property owners are represented. The last one is to prepare borough businesses to capitalize on increased economic activity brought by the influx of new business area growth, which we're seeing more and more every weekend. New residents, hotel guests, restaurant foot traffic, and emerging businesses through strategic advocacy, business resource development, and targeted PR and marketing efforts. So that's what we've set as our 3 goals for this year. We can answer any questions you have about the budget, but basically, 2 key highlights are we gave fewer grants last year for signage as less businesses opened and fewer signs were approved. We're already almost we will definitely be out of grant money for signage for this year, as we're getting so many businesses that are opening and they all want a really nice sign. In addition, we transitioned last year with a different marketing agency mid-year, accounting for why we spent less on overall marketing. But basically, our budget reflects where we are now, where we're going, and with major business openings ahead and Main Street construction wrapping up. Did we really write that?
Yeah, you really write that. It's hard again.
I just mean like, that part.
Love it.
It's not hard, it's wrapping up.
We're focused on the 3 V's, visibility, vibrancy, and value for our stakeholders. This means supporting new and existing businesses as we revitalize, improving our communications, period. We understand how difficult and challenging it is, especially because everybody reads different media and reads something different in everything they read. We are intent on driving more consistent foot traffic, doing more placemaking, and our critical investments this year are marketing and communications. Ally is taking a short couple of months sabbatical from being the board chair to jump in at what she's really best at, which is communications strategy, and knows our organization better than anybody really does. And has jumped in to help me with our communications restructuring, because it's, just like the borough changed their emergency alert messaging, we really need to change our messaging systems. And I think we're doing a much better job. Our first 2 meetings, as Tony pointed out, were great. We have another one scheduled with the commercial highway retail, which we now call the Circle Shopping District, and with property owners. So we will attempt to put a touch on everyone we can.
Dare I ask where the signs are?
Where the what?
Signs, where we are with signs.
Yes, they're pretty close to being
Yeah.
done. Our board has seen iterations of what the 3 different signs look like. I spent 2 hours in the back of a police car, and when we finally parked, I said, can you open the door for me? He said, this is a regular car. You could have gotten out anytime, but we've had the police vet what the signs should say. There's still a few more looks to be had, but we're very close.
Does this have, are you addressing signage for parking?
We sure are, and we found a better solution that we want to show to the parking committee, if that's where you feel it would be. We found a really good, a flexible, less expensive solution that will provide more consistent parking, communication and direction
Really?
Signage.
through
Specifically
signage.
Yeah.
Yes, in Ardmore, Pennsylvania. We found they have the same signs that we have, but they actually.
But it would like direct them to like the county lot next to the old stuff, for example.
But it won't be like that one sign, which you better hope you see. They're signs that can go on every
They're clustered.
post. On every
Yeah.
post, or every post where there's nearby parking. That give you, it's a round P
Has the P in
with
it.
4
Yeah.
arrows.
Yeah.
And they're attractive, they're the same color combo as the other ones. I know that some people didn't like the blue and the green. It's really an attractive sign communication solution.
So as you travel certain places, and I think I make this point, is that you will often see that there's this is going to this shopping area, this is going here, it's all on one side, and then at the bottom of it, it has parking and it has an arrow that. whatever the
right.
case may be. Yes, and that it's very effective. It is.
And on the posts where we don't have a big giant metal sign, you can also still have a parking sign. So it allows you to put them where you need them.
I think one of the issues is that there's so much parking on Main Street behind the buildings.
Yes.
And visitors are not aware that a number of our buildings have parking lots.
Like, right, you think like you go to turn down Bloomfield, right? There should be a P that's there directing you and then where
Right.
you turn
It's
in.
not like just there, it's like.
That's right, I know.
Shaker
That's what I'm
Cafe and
saying.
Market Rooms, they all have parking
Like
lots.
8 Main.
Yeah, I mean, I got an email, oh gosh, it had to be it had to be in 2023 from a woman not in Flemington Borough, that other municipality that shares our zip code. You know, asking that we consider putting in, ready, a handicap parking space in front of every restaurant on Main Street in Flemington. Because there's no parking, and, you know, and I wrote her back and I'm like, yeah, first of all, you know, a lot of our restaurants are only open for breakfast or lunch. Some of them are only open for dinner. And so you're gonna lock up a spot, you know, for a partial day. And then I said to her, you know, other than, and I cited it, I mean, it's other than Little Egypt, and I can't remember the other one I cited. Every restaurant has its own parking lot. And I said, you know, you're just making me very aware that as a person who lives in Flemington, I know that there are all these parking lots, but you in Raritan Township have no idea where they are. So,
Although I will say this, having someone who is disabled in my family, who's been in a wheelchair all of his life, right? To have to park in a parking lot and try to walk through is not necessarily always good. So there does need to be some type of handicap parking on Main Street. That
actually-
could be in all
we
places.
actually had, Jerry
but
did a
it
survey
doesn't-
for us, we had, from our last parking meeting, we haven't gotten back to find out. There's apparently more than we realized.
Well, I've never seen it. I mean, I.
There are,
I mean, I can say it, I've
some
never seen it.
people don't abide by those, but.
But that's, I just wanna say that's important.
Yeah, that's actually one of the things that we on the parking committee are working on now, so
Right,
like,
looking at the
you know.
handicap, or do we have too many, or is some of them old? And do they all have ordinances behind them?
Well,
Right,
as
no.
you get new businesses coming in, then the real issue the real question would be. Is not the businesses you have now, but the ones that are coming in, where the handicap parking in relation to the overall businesses, it can't be just what you have right now. And again, I'm talking for someone who has a handicapped person who's been in a wheelchair all of his life. And this is the one thing he fights on all the time. He's been to Congress, he's been to the White House, he's been everywhere to talk about this. So that is a real thing, because we don't have it unless you break a leg or whatever the case may be, and then you start looking for one. It's a whole different ballgame. And when you have a person who is 90 years old, who's walking on a walker or whatever, it becomes important then too. I'm just trying to be very sensitive about this as well.
And in terms of sensitivity, our new signs will be ADA compliant,
That's good.
which is also a
I'm
really.
listening. So anyway, I'm interrupted you, asking you where the signs were, so.
That's okay.
Is there?
So landing the plane here on the runway, we built this new budget to.
Yeah, don't crash it, there's been too many of those lately.
Way too many.
To more effectively track spending on a monthly and quarterly basis, allowing for flexibility to respond to economic shifts or changing business needs. Which again, there's a lot of uncertainty, both because we're in an uncertain time and also because we're anticipating growth and we are having growth. And just congratulations to our board member Norma, who opened Momitos. The former, going from a clear office space that was not always busy to a fabulous dress shop with a window that screams like cute town dress shop. It's awesome. So I really hope everybody gets to go check it out. So, you know, every weekend we've opened a new business and we have new businesses that have been opening almost every weekend going forward. So that's really exciting. And I just wanna say we're just shifting a little bit in the way that we do events because we have $20,000 in our event grant budget for our businesses to have events in their neighborhoods with their, with partners. And that's really what we would prefer as opposed to me being, the town and the business area event planner. It makes a lot more sense and those events are generally better run and better attended because there's a groundswell from all the businesses supporting it. So do you wanna take it from here?
Yeah, so the only thing from a number standpoint is when we submitted the budget to you, we did an in-depth budget for you all to look at that gives an analysis of 2024, both in what we projected last year, where we landed, and then rationale for the variance, if any. But we did come in under budget where we anticipated. When you look ahead to 2025 column, for what our anticipated budget, a lot of it is similar, but we did make a couple of key changes and the rationale for that is also in there. Mostly just to adjust to fit the objectives that we set. So, thank you. If you have any specific
Thank
questions,
you.
we're happy to answer.
What's the public hearing right now, so we're in the public hearing, so thank you. Anybody else in the public have any comments or?
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Good
you.
job.
Seeing none, can I have a motion to close the public hearing? Is
Well moved.
there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I have a motion to approve the FCP 2025 budget.
Parker move.
Is there a second?
Long a second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote, please, Carla.
Councilman Vargas.
Yes.
Councilwoman Nyberg.
Yes.
Councilwoman Casar.
Yes.
Councilman Levitt.
Yes.
Council Vice President Long.
Yes.
And Council President Parker.
Yes.
Item
Real quick,
14. What?
sorry, I have one question I forgot to ask about an ordinance that we introduced, the shade tree ordinance. Does that have to go to planning board?
No,
Okay. I just wanted to make.
it's not a land use, it's not a land use.
It is in the.
Mayor,
Is it?
it is as long as.
Well, is it in the land use portion? Then yeah, it
The
does.
shade tree committee itself is not incorporated in that ordinance, but this was put in.
It
Yeah.
was, so therefore it does to go.
Yeah,
What
even though
number
it's
is
just a
that?
fee.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's what we're doing.
I did not know.
You could have an-
Makes sense.
you could have an argument, does it touch on the
Yeah.
actual land use, but I think that mostly we could.
So we have 45 days. We'll see if we can get them to get it to us for our May meeting.
2513.
Let's see if we can get them to do it for the May meeting, our first May meeting, so we don't have to have a second May meeting like we did last year. Thank you for catching that. I did not realize that was a land use ordinance. Thank you. Okay, resolution 2025-65 designating April 21 through 27 as International Dark Sky Week. I have a motion to approve.
Well moved.
And Hart will second.
Any discussion?
What is it?
This is a passion that both Councilman Trent, Levitt and I share.
Like I mentioned in my council report, this came to me from Councilman John Cashwood up in town of Clinton. He does a lot of work as well on light pollution stuff here and, you know, obviously in Clinton and Martin County and with I think the Dark Sky New Jersey chapter, it is just celebrating the wonderful resource that is our beautiful dark sky and making sure that people are aware of efforts to keep it dark.
Right, there's
essentially.
there's a lot of science behind the fact that people sleep better. Crime is lower in darker sky areas. I will share with you, as a child growing up in Flemington Borough, I saw the Milky Way every night. There was no clouds until Flemington Car and Country opened, and that was the end. So, you know, which is why I, agree with, I mean, the county has a model dark sky night ordinance under their planning board environmental toolbox, and
I can't find that anymore.
Really?
They redid their website and they got.
I'll
I don't know what happened to
I'll
it.
find it. For you. All right, roll call please.
Councilman Arias,
Yes.
Councilwoman Engelhardt,
Yes.
Councilwoman Fasaro,
Yes.
Councilman Levitt,
Yes,
Council Vice President Long.
Yes.
And Council President Parker.
Yes.
Resolution 2025-66, resolution approving the temporary budget amendment. I have a motion to approve.
I'll move.
Is there a second?
Engelhardt will second.
Any discussion? Roll call please.
Councilman Arias,
Yes.
Councilwoman Engelhardt,
Yes.
Councilwoman Fasaro, sorry.
Yes.
Councilman Levitt,
yes,
Council Vice President Long.
Yes.
Council President Parker.
Yes.
Resolution 2025-67, resolution approving the hiring of Rebecca Levinsky as the police department secretary. Can I have a motion? Is
I'll move.
there a second?
Engelhardt will second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilman Arias,
Yes.
Councilwoman Engelhardt,
Yes.
Councilwoman Fasaro,
Yes.
Councilman Levitt,
yes,
Council Vice President Long.
Yes.
And Council President Parker.
We already did resolution 2025-68.
Well, last year, oh, we already did it, okay.
Yeah, I did.
But last year, we did it separate for some reason, the same way we did it this
I think it's why I got confused.
We
Sorry.
could say welcome to Rebecca.
Is she here?
No, but you know.
just in general.
No.
But like, it's a big deal. We've been, this is something the police needed for a while, so. Welcome.
Yep.
Okay, we have no work session, or public comment session number 2. Again, anybody in the public, wishing to make any comments, on the microphone, state your name and address for the record, please keep your comments in 3 minutes.
Get out of here. I hope you have a sign that flashes for pedestrian walking going through. Jack Coons, 102 Park Avenue. Since I came here under the pretense that you were gonna force through that ordinance, we're gonna go through there. Does anyone know what the ordinance is for noise?
Yes,
What's the times?
7 to 10.
7 to 10, all right. I submit this.
Moving your fingers, yeah. You might want to turn it off. Where is it in South kind of was?
10:35,
What is it?
the car outside of my house. And it doesn't. Now. Turn it off. You got the- All right, well, I can do it. I have the same gentleman there 8 minutes. After 10 o'clock.
Does he live on your street? Or does-
Nope, I know where he lives, but I'm not going to what do you call it. The root problem of this noise ordinance is not the individuals. They don't know any better. It's the store owner and the worker who can care less what's happening with the residents who have to adhere to noise ordinances inside their store, outside their store, sound wise or behavioral wise. That's number one. We have noise ordinance. Next one, bikes on the sidewalks. There is a law. There's signs all up and down my street. I have bikes going down my street, motorized bikes on sidewalks. Got people walking their dogs. I got little kids coming down from the apartments. Who's enforcing it? Right out of my street, I have 2 signs that say no left-hand turns. Every night I come home, I have pictures on my phone if you want to see, of people making a left-hand turn, just jogging, missing the light. Who's enforcing this?
Do those pictures include license plate numbers?
I have license plate numbers. I was told I would have to fight that. I'm not fighting anything. I'm just bringing it up. Then finally, the blight of our neighborhood. First of all, the train station that's deteriorating. It's falling down and no one cares. The Historical Society doesn't care. The council doesn't care, the mayor doesn't care. At the time of realignment, this was a no budge. That had to stay there because it was gonna be part of the redevelopment and put down at the bottom. Because of that stupid decaying train station now, in its form right now, was the refusal of keeping our resident off-street parking and weather from Foran Boulevard and going straight across and hooking up with Park Avenue. So again, the blight, you're letting it decay. It was supposed to be historic. They were here screaming that that's where the soldiers went off to World War II. That was everything. So that's it. The Agway Park property. I'm gonna call it the Guitar Boy mural building. Why can't we just paint that white instead of watching it decay? If they're not gonna knock it down and do something with it, why don't you guys do something with it? Put it out to bid, get a new coat of paint, put a welcome to Flemington sign, do something. It looks hideous. And I'm looking at it every single night from my window. And I didn't have a single opportunity to say yay or nay on it. That's it, that's all I'm gonna say. So
Can I ask you a question?
yes,
When these occurrences are happening, are you picking up the phone and calling the police?
here's what we're told. And I'm saying, the police do it. Call and report it anonymous. We do that.
Okay,
By the time the officer gets there, the car is gone.
okay, but the other thing, so.
Yes, we call.
Can I ask my question, please? So there's a couple of things that you said, and I'm just trying to dig down into it. So you're calling police, so if you're saying that person every night is there at 8 o'clock, have you told the police that they're there at 8 o'clock so that they can be there at 8 o'clock and passing by? That's the right person, hold on. My second question is that when you were talking about the left-hand turns and things like that, and you said you have license plates or whatever, have you talked to the police and said you need to have someone stationed and running around here constantly? If the answer to that is yes, that you have, and you've done that consistently and constantly, then we have a police commissioner here that can handle that question there. But if it's just that you're doing it here and there, that's not helping. That's all I'm trying to.
It's every night. No, I don't go to the police chiefs every time, but every time I see Jerry Rotello, Chief Rotello, I let him know. And he says, there's only so much manpower you can do. And how are you going to enforce it? You gotta have someone on North Main to chase up that way. You can't have them come from Park Avenue because two wrongs don't make a right. We still have cars coming down to the left. And again, all the neighbors see this all the time. And I ask everyone to come, when I come home, there's always one or two violators all night long. But when I come home and I see it, it makes me mad.
Okay, so part of community policing would be just addressing that, right? So that if you're saying that there's an issue, one of the things I'm really big on is community policing. And so if that's one of the issues there, then one of the things, my recommendation would be, the commissioner, is that there is that thing with community policing, maybe that's one of the areas that they just need to focus in on and walk that beat and let people know that they're there and et cetera, to see and monitor that. I mean, I think there is a solution, it's just that I'm just trying to understand what the communication is and what the follow-up is and the whole bit. What I don't want to hear is that I tried and nothing's happening, because that's never gonna go anywhere, right? But bringing it here and talking about it and saying, okay, well, I've done this. Now we have a solution, and then if that solution doesn't work, then, I mean, now we have something to monitor. Now, this team, along with police, has something to monitor. That's how you fix it.
Well, you've been saying it for a long time.
Okay, but I wasn't here for a long time.
No, that's what I'm saying, and again, I wanna thank you for your time. I haven't seen any of the faces come down to see me at election time, except for Marcia. And I had words with her, she knows that. And that's a story for itself. But
Stand in line.
What was that?
I said stand in line.
Do you remember why? You were looking for my daughter. I said, you should be talking to me. They didn't want to talk to me, and I just said, well, I voted for Mr. Semino, but that's it. But enough said, you know, you want my vote, you come out and see, you look at where we are, we are a great family down there. We take care of each other. The Coopers have been there probably 60, 70 years. The same house next to me. We've been there 35 years. The two houses on the corner are the young kids on the block, and then there's a rental again. We shovel each other's walks when we can. I'm getting older, so I can't fight all the battles anymore, so that's why I'm here, looking for help. Again, you can say, oh, do this, do that, we do that, and do that, and do that, and again,
So now we're giving you a solution, we're gonna work on it, everybody's aware of it now. The commissioner's gonna work on it with the chief, and we're gonna get a solution.
Well, you should work with the citizens,
Okay.
the neighbor,
Well,
that's what you should.
But that's what community policing does, sir. It works with people. You
Mr.
gotta have
Parker?
a police there to talk to the people to find out what's going on.
The
That's
the
community
officers
policing.
are fantastic.
Right.
We can talk to them anytime in the world. It's, the problem is when something happens late at night, and again, the ordinance to 10 o'clock shouldn't in fact happen to stores in a residential area.
But again,
When we first,
going back at you, we've got a solution, we're gonna work with the solution, and then we'll come back and assess,
When I
right?
first came up here and approached it, you know what I was told by a councilman sitting in the exact same seat you were? You knew what you were buying into. When I bought into that house, I was ridiculed for my neighbor, and no one came over to visit me. I don't have to say anything else. The owner of the store took good care of the neighbors. On Christmas, Easter, came over with gifts for the neighbors who purchased from that store. That owner left, and he would leave at 9 o'clock every night.
And I can-
Jack, you gave us a list.
Yeah, and I
We'll
appreciate your
follow.
frustration, I really do
Well,
appreciate your
again,
frustration.
Again, it's on our side, no one seems to care.
No,
Going back 20 years
Okay,
ago, 30
okay,
years
it's a
ago.
comment session, you're done commenting. You got a list, thank you very much.
Okay, I'll be here in
And,
2 weeks and we can discuss the list, or if
That's
you want to come
fine,
over to.
thank you. All right, payment of bills, authorizing payment of bills in the amount of $620,929.
You know, I didn't laugh.
30
You're-
cents.
I'm not laughing at you, I'm laughing because she skipped to the bills.
That's okay.
Routine order.
Oh, I didn't know what you were like.
It's fine, you go on.
Okay. Okay. Can I have a motion to authorize payment of bills?
Move.
Is there a second?
Engelhardt will second.
Anybody have any questions about any of the bills?
Not this time.
No,
Okey
we're
dokey.
good. We're good.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Engelhardt,
Yes.
No, I mean, like.
Councilwoman Fasar,
Oh, I didn't sign anything.
Fasar,
I think Marcia-
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Councilman Levitt,
Yes.
Council Vice President Ong,
Yes.
and Council President Parker.
Council President Parker?
Yes, I'm trying to get the.
Okay, we do have a brief executive session. Can I have a motion? To authorize those with executive session for the purpose of public safety facility,
Level
is there a second?
Parker second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
I will take a 5-minute break until 9 o'clock here in the room. Well, I will make a big point about this when we do the public hearing on the truck, but I did ask Raritan Township's mayor for the courtesy. Since we, have such a better relationship, fire department to fire department now than ever in my lifetime, literally, between Flem Rare. To allow the potential truck that we're now in the process of buying. To be inspected by their DPW because they have a mechanic. DPW in Raritan Township has bays and mechanics that do all their cars. And they have a mechanic who works on fire trucks, so they gave us the courtesy of allowing that at no cost. And he did do the once over, as due diligence, because like I said. Learn a lesson on this building on what not to do, you gotta be very vigilant, make sure when you buy something that somebody else had first. You do your due diligence, anyway, so I will make sure that they are properly thanked. Publicly at our next meeting, for doing that for us, because otherwise we probably would have had to take that truck out of town someplace. It would have been a lot more difficult, it would have taken a lot more time, and Raritan did it for us in 24 hours. I mean, very, very fast, so. That's it, anything else? Motion to adjourn,
Move.
is there a second?
Parker second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Carla.
Out the below.
Not too bad.
You're not for what?
Not-
We're down here.